First off, before we get too far into our topic and we talk a little bit more about the problem of the day, just want to shout out our awesome partners and our affiliates. You can find all those in our link tree, which is linked in the show notes in the description on every show on every platform. It's there. That's a great way to go and support us. A great way to support this podcast, to keep it free, to keep us going, to help us keep doing what we love. So go over to our link tree, explore it, check out the website, all that fun stuff. All right, that's enough of the business. Let's talk about the problem of the day. The problem of the day: does children's culture have a fat phobia problem or a body image problem?
Short answer, yes.
Absolutely. And it's a problem. Like I can say like for myself as a parent, especially recently, it was really weird cuz normally my oldest daughter who's in kindergarten loves it when I buy her new clothes, loves it when I get her new things to wear. She loves to wear them, put them on right away and wear them. However, I'm part African American and it's Black History Month. And so I had gotten her a shirt from Target from their Black History Month collection of culturally relevant pieces. I got her the shirt that said culture. It had different faces on it, of different color, basically saying that we're all part of one culture. We're all the same no matter what. We all belong to the same culture. Doesn't matter your skin type or anything like that. And then that led into a discussion about what is Black History Month, why it's important, which was really cool to share with her, first off. But then on top of that, I've been trying to get her to wear it, and she only wants to wear it around the house. She doesn't want to wear it out. She wants to wear it to bed, maybe like going to the store. She doesn't want to wear it to school, which I'm like, why don't you want to wear it to school? And I finally got the answer out of it. So it's between, we're going to be talking about, fat phobia, but let's talk about, the clothes that our kids are wearing, even at the kindergarten level. Like these kids are 5. She said that she doesn't want to be complimented. She doesn't want people to ask her questions about it. And she doesn't want to be approached about it, which like kind of like hurts me a little bit that she doesn't want to. Maybe I haven't done a good enough job talking to her about her culture and embracing those parts of her. Hopefully someday that changes where she embraces those parts of her. But you know, when it comes to body image, what are you doing in that conversation when your daughter comes up to you, especially for us having daughters, and says, "Dad, I don't like wearing these clothes. They make me feel fat." Some kids are saying, we're talking about my body, saying that I don't look good in these clothes, that or I don't look cute, or something like that. What are you doing in those situations?
You know what? Let's restructure, man. I think I figured out the perfect way to pitch this, and I think it'll help us out.
What up, my youngins? Youngins? I don't know if that one works, but you know what does work? What works really well? And it works really well, like keeping your water ice cold, crisp, delicious, and looks amazing, and other people want to have one too. The coldest water bottles, now available in 46-ounce tumblers. They're amazing. I have the wood finish 46-ounce tumbler. Absolutely love it. I have 32-ounce bottles. My kids have them. We have the little kid size. We have slightly bigger kid size. We have all the sizes. So many different colors, shapes, can koozies, sport bottles, just anything you could think of for a water bottle. They're amazing. They keep your water ice cold, crisp, delicious. Go to thecoldest.com, use the code ballboy10 at checkout, save yourself some money, and support this podcast. We are always so thankful for our live and studio audience. You guys are amazing. As you just heard on that break, you can visit our link tree. You can support the podcast. You can help us. You can support us as people, as individuals, support this show, and help us grow to new heights. Like, share with a friend, share that link tree. Everyone that we work with, our affiliates are all there. You can get great deals, great presents for any time of year, any occasion. It's almost Valentine's Day. If you're late to getting presents like me, mostly because I don't have anyone to get presents for, that's a great place to go. All right, that's enough of the business. Let's jump into the problem of the day. Children's culture. There is so much within children's culture that's a problem. I'll start out first here with one of my issues with children's culture here. So to start off here, it's with kids not wanting to stand out and really wanting to blend in, even starting as young as kindergarten, which kind of blows my mind because you think it wouldn't really matter what a kid wears, how they express themselves, or anything like that. So, backstory here: my oldest daughter, we are part African American. I'm a quarter African American, therefore my children are 1/8 African American, and it's Black History Month. And so normally my daughters really like it when I get them new clothes. They want to wear them, they want to show them off, they wear them proudly. Um, However, this time I had gotten us this matching set of shirts from Target's culturally, I guess, promoted section for Black History Month at Target, which they've done the last 2 years. It's been amazing. They've had some really cool pieces, but I got her this shirt that had culture on it, written on it, with a few faces on it as well. I thought these shirts were awesome. Like I wear mine every chance I get. I love it. But she didn't want to wear it. And I kept asking her why doesn't she want to wear it to school? She only wanted to wear it around the house. She only wanted to wear it with people who like knew her and wouldn't ask questions or anything like that. So instead, I finally got it out of her and she said, "Well, I don't want to wear it to school because I don't want people to compliment me. I don't want people to ask me questions about it. I don't want to stand out. Like I just don't." She's like, "I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to wear it." I'm like, "Okay, I'll leave it there. I'm not going to force you to wear something because I'm not going to create that trauma of you being uncomfortable with clothes. I'm not going to give you, a daddy issue there." But it was really weird because I had fully explained what Black History Month was, why it's important to her, and where she should go, and why this shirt like represents her culture, who she is, and a part of her that she should be extremely proud of because of the history that it holds, especially between you and me. Our great grandfather, Faye Young, one of the first, if not the first, African American sports writer in the United States, covering, boxing, MMA, or not MMA, boxing, baseball, football, basketball, a close relationship with Jackie Robinson during the segregation times, just parts of her that she should be proud of. And is that on me as a parent for not explaining it to her earlier in life? Kind of who she is, where she comes from. You know what I mean? Like is that on me, or what are your thoughts on this situation here? And this part of children's culture where they just kind of want to blend in even at 5, where they're so aware of what they wear and how they look.
Yeah, so there's two sides to this coin. Like, so in my case, right, my oldest, I've always taught her to be like unapologetically herself, and so a lot of people will tell you like, oh, that's the problem, this and that, and you should have reinforced her more. But honestly, I don't think that's it. Um, Even coming from two very strong cultures, my daughter still sometimes hesitates, to stand out and be different than the rest. And I honestly think it's today's culture, man. It's like if you're not with the crowd, you're weird, and it was that way back when we were young too. I remember it, but there was a lot more weirdos. There's a lot
It's
more
true.
people for you to vibe with, and it's like now it's snowballing, man. Like you can be the one kid in class or two kids in class that really stand out, and it's just because you want to be yourself.
Yeah, and I think it would have been really cool. Maybe she'll change her mind. I mean, there's still 2 more weeks of Black History Month left where the shirt makes sense to wear. Maybe she comes around, or maybe she just wears it later in the future when she feels more comfortable wearing it and understands a little bit more and isn't afraid to stand out and have those questions asked of her and her culture and where she comes from, things like that. So maybe someday, maybe someday. All
Yeah,
right.
and
So
so
what? Go
I'd
ahead.
like to counter off of that issue of not standing out. What do you think about kids having a problem with body dysmorphia or like fat phobia? Like how do you feel about that?
I definitely think it's an issue. I think this really ties into a lot of bullying, cyberbullying. I mean, but when you look at just fat phobia, I mean, it's taught. A lot of these things are taught where I can say um, there's people who are very close to me who have struggled with weight. myself being included, when I was younger, struggled with weight and, my own image in the mirror, and to where I'm not going to say exactly who, but people can connect the dots. Someone that's around my children very often has a problem with people who are obese, kind of looks down on them, talks bad about them, has in the past, around me, around the kids. And it's very unsettling because I've corrected this person. I've talked to this person about it just because it's not okay. So I believe a lot of it's taught to look at someone who has a different body shape type than you and shame them. So it's definitely taught. We teach our kids these things and then they mimic what we teach them. But even on from there, kids themselves, they're very aware of how they look. They're very aware if their skin's different, if their clothes are different, if how they talk is different, how they run is different. Kids will point it out. There's always going to be a bully because there's some parents out there who just aren't engaged enough, who don't care enough, who don't think it's a problem for whatever reason that is. Who aren't engaged enough with their children to teach them the full right from wrong. Because we still see it all the time. It's all over the media where you see kids who are bullied for being bigger, for having a different body type, where the song Victoria's Secret went international and blew up because it called out the beauty industry. It called out all these stereotypes for women and girls on how they're supposed to look because it was false, it was fabricated. I mean, it was made up by a dude, um, as it says in the song. So I definitely think it's a big issue because kids all want to look one way. There's a cool way to look, the way that you're not going to get made fun of, you're not going to stand out, you're going to blend in. And I think more kids want to blend in and not stand out because they don't want to be looked at as the weird kid or the kid that's bigger, can't, or anything like that. Um, so what do you feel we can do to help this issue of fat phobia, especially with our kids having girls, to the extent where we can help them?
Well, yeah. So I mean, all you can really do is reinforce, right? Just reinforce. Both of these issues are a similar thing. It's just struggling at a young age to find yourself. And so all you can do as a dad really is be there for them and encourage them to be different. Uh, Growing up, like you said, I had weight problems as well, and I wasn't into the same things a lot of other kids were into because I couldn't be. so
Yeah.
so it's I think it's a good thing. I've never been one to shy away from the bullying and fat shaming. I've always approached it head on. But having a daughter with her being a lot softer than I am, I wouldn't want that for anyone. It's really opened my eyes to just how much it can affect kids. It can change their whole life.
No, definitely. And I think definitely teaching your kids both sides of it, teaching them how to not be a jerk and how to be accepting and positive and not shameful toward others because of their skin, their size, how they might run, because we don't, and helping kids understand what empathy is at a very young age, I think helps this whole topic of body image, fat phobia, body positivity, everything when it comes to a child's body, their clothes, everything like that. Helping them just have empathy for themselves and acceptance of self, which you mentioned a couple times now, is just super important because we have to teach our kids to accept themselves and love themselves, because that's what matters at the end of the day. That's what they're going to carry on for their entire life, is their own self love. The second part of that is if we teach our kids how to be empathetic and how to have empathy, especially a high amount, to not judge others, to put ourselves in their shoes, to think, oh man, I don't know what this person has going on, but I'm just going to be nice to them because they haven't had anyone playing with them at recess. They've been sitting by themselves at lunch a lot, or they've been getting made. My friends have been making fun of them, but I'm not going to join in on that. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to have empathy because I don't know what they're going through at home. I don't know what they're struggling with personally. It's taught. It is very much taught at a young age. Um, so that's one thing that I think. Two things that I think can really help. move us forward when it comes to helping our children just be more comfortable within their own bodies and helping themselves accept others. Is empathy is a huge part of it.
Okay, so with that being said, what are some things do you think you can do or have your child do to encourage them to, stand out and be that light for somebody else? Like what are some things you can actively have them do?
I think actively have them do, okay, for example, let's say you go to the park, right? And there's always a couple kids at the park who are just kind of off playing by themselves, who very obviously to you as a parent might have a disability or might just be a little bit different, a little bit off, not quote unquote a normal regular kid, you know. And then it's all about teaching your kid to a see those other children, but also not be afraid to approach your children and say, "Hey, do you want to play with us?" I've made my oldest daughter do this countless times where there's another kid at the park. I'm like, "Hey, come here. Go ask that little girl to play with you guys." She keeps looking at you guys, watching. I don't think she knows how to ask, and you're going to go and ask her how to do it, how to help. I think my daughter's kindergarten teacher has a great system as it is right now for um, helping. They have a kind of a chart. It's kind of old school. It's not really used as much in schools anymore, but a flip chart to where everyone starts at green every single day. Every single day is a fresh start. And then, if their behavior worsens, they go down to red, yellow, and then red if they're being really bad. But they can always earn it back. They can get back to green. But if they really show things of leadership, like helping another kid without asking, getting up and going out of their way for someone else in the class, just to be a friend, to be a good peer, or anything like that, they get moved to purple. And so they get double the amount of pennies, which then pennies earn them. They can buy stuff with their pennies, like books and pencils and things like that. So I think it's just teaching our children to understand when those moments happen and to recognize them. And then how to act on them, not just be able to recognize them, but how to act, because it's a two-part thing. You have to be able to see it, and then you have to know what to do next. So it's teaching our children how to do it.
Yeah, I love that. My in my perspective, you touched on it a little bit, but you got to incentivize your kids to be in those situations, or enjoy them, uh, not necessarily forcing them to, but you'll find once you start really putting them in situations like that and they see for themselves that, hey, this person isn't so different from me after all. You might make a friend that's your lifelong friend that, everyone was bullying and you decided to be, their best friend, or the only friend that would talk to them, and so when, like you said, with the whole tier system, right? My daughter has the same thing at school. It's like on top of that, I make deals with my daughter, like, if you get so many greens all week, or for so many weeks, we'll give you this, or you'll work towards this. I really like to be goal oriented and have her focus on achieving something, but at the same time encouraging things that will help her stand out, or will help her engage in different, just people. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. Is just different people.
Yeah, most definitely. And different people really aren't that different after all. Kind of like you said, not that different after all. All right, let's jump in here. Another common misconception or another issue in children's culture. What do you got? Tell me another one, because there's so many. There's so many out there. But what's one that really stands out to you that is an issue personally for you, or one that you ran into several times?
Yeah. So my whole thing is the screen time that we give our kids, right? And just their whole culture in general. Like, when you were a kid, what do you remember? You would, like, I don't know, say like 8 or 9. What would you do after school? Would you come home and watch, TV all day, or go on a computer and do all your little games, or would you go outside and would you play with your neighbors, and would was there a sense of community?
Yeah,
That,
that,
I
for
feel like
me,
our kids are missing that, man.
100%. Like for me, I remember going outside. I wouldn't even go home. I would go straight to my best friend's house. Or after school, when I was in middle school living in Hawaii, I would go to the Boys and Girls Club with a group of my friends, and we would hang out at the Boys and Girls Club playing basketball, playing games,
Yes, dude. Yes.
hanging out. Like the Boys and Girls Club was it. Like that was dope. Like we would leave White and I middle school, and we would walk down to McDonald's. This is back when they had the dollar menu still. Spend a few bucks, get a snack, get a McChicken, McGangbang, all the above, whatever, and then grab our drinks, walk down the canal, through the park, and then end up at the Boys and Girls Club. And it was the best. It was the absolute best because it was just so fun. Like it was just basketball, kicking it, pool, ping pong, foosball, other activities and whatnot. And, it was inclusive. Yeah, I was the white kid hanging out with all these, Native Hawaiians and Polynesian kids, and I was definitely the odd man out, but it didn't feel like it there. It didn't feel like it at school just because I found the right friends. Like they embraced me. It was a two-way embrace. But it was awesome. And then obviously in high school, I was so busy. I didn't really get to do a lot of that computer stuff just between extracurriculars and things. So, but our kids now, yeah, if they're and extracurriculars are expensive as crap.
Yeah, man, and it's unfortunate because our kids have nothing to do with it. Their culture has been overtaken, by nothing of their choice. It's not that they're choosing, hey, dad, buy me this iPad or this, PlayStation so I can play it. No, they're not. It's because we can't trust our kids to go outside because it's not safe.
Yeah, it's
There's so
not
many
safe
sick,
anymore.
yeah, there's so many sick people in this community, or like in our general community overall.
Yeah.
It's like you can't trust your kid to just go down to the park anymore. I remember I would take off on my bike, dude. I wouldn't get home until right before the streetlights got on,
Oh, yep,
and
100%. Yeah, like for me, it
I
was
didn't
always
have a
just,
phone. Like
mm-hmm.
I didn't have any way to be traced.
Nope,
And I always managed to make it home, dude. But
100%.
it's like it's so unfortunate. Our kids, they're not allowed to go outside because you could get kidnapped or you could get uh raped or
Yeah,
God forbid any of those things. And it's
yeah,
terrible.
yeah. It's like there's so much fear instilled in it. Like even when my daughter would plays outside in our apartment complex, like with the neighbors or anything, like there's always some of us adults, like at least an adult, we're always just sitting outside watching them, hanging out, making sure we're there. The only real safe place now is like if you're fortunate enough to be in a home, with a backyard that is like fenced off and like closed off, and like it's a very controlled environment. That's the only place where you can really trust it is within that controlled environment, which is so sad because like you're saying, like you used to be able to just 20 years ago hop on your bike, ride around, go to the park, play basketball, go to whatever friend's house, show up, knock on the door, say yo, and now if you hear a knock at your door, you're like hitting the deck. You're like, no, 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 people, go away, go away. um so it's kind of crazy how things have changed in just 20 years since we were children, and now here we are. So it begs the question, how do us as now this generation of parents in 2023, a lot of us parents, we all grew up together during this time where we were going outside. We were probably the last generation to go outside. What are things that us as parents can do to change things back, to help things go back to how they were, to make it so our kids can enjoy the sun, get those vitamins from outside, get that social interaction, not at school, but also build that community around them?
I love this question, and I'm so glad we got to this point. There's so many especially for us dads. We like to focus on the father side of things on this podcast, but there's so many great communities to join. I'm sure, wherever you guys are listening from, if you go on Facebook, if you go on, wherever, you can find groups of dads getting together to restore this exact thing. And it's unfortunate that we have to do it, yes, but it's something that needs to be done. We have to get our kids out. We have to get our kids participating in sports again. Have to let our kids, run around the park again. Get that dad group going. Or if there's nothing there, start it. I'm sure there's
Yes,
people looking for a community to be a part of.
yes,
We have to be the change we seek.
100%. Because I mean, if there's nothing out there in your community, start the community. And if you need to figure out a way to vet people, go and join another community to where you can get their like template for how they do it. Google how to vet people to make sure it's safe. Granted, A, you're going to be in a public place. B, it's safer when it's in public during the daytime. Obviously, don't set up play dates at night because that's going to make you look like a creeper. Um, but put it out there. Put it out. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, we just have to do a better job of being more inclusive, man. Don't be so. I know, especially here in California, it's like, you hide from your neighbor. You
Oh
don't,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like that big city mentality. But luckily, ever since I've moved, I live in a lot, smaller population town, and so, I've really gotten to know my neighbors, and my kids are lucky enough to benefit from that. We get to let our kids go outside and play, and they get to enjoy it. But you know there there's nothing stopping you from creating something like that in the harshest environment. You know what I mean? There's nothing that we can't come together and fix with love and compassion, and like Jules said, empathy.
yeah. No, I think that's the trick. When it comes down to it, obviously we just looked at two different problems: screen time, being outside, not having a community, and then we looked at body image and fat phobia, body image, accepting yourself, and they boil down to the same thing. They boil down to a few of the same things. Us parents are going to lead that change and going to have to lead it, but also being able to go outside and be part of your community and be able to create a community is going to take empathy. And it's something that we have to teach our children because our children are going to be the ones to really build that community for themselves, So, and then there's communities out there. If your child isn't really a outside person, because some kids aren't, they're not that. Guess what? Help them find, you know, online platform. Help them find, that online platform of, you know, once they're the appropriate age that you want them playing online and at, talking to people and interacting with other people. Help them find the right communities because they're out there. They're out there. There's communities. Sorry about that. There's my voice is like dying, but there's communities out there that are made for kids to be able to have a safe, inclusive environment to game and play these games together and to not be, bullied online, cyberbullied. So it's all about finding them, setting those boundaries, and then when your kids in those, actually in those groups, in those extracurricular activities, whether it's sports, whether it's something online, whether it's a club, whatever it is, make sure you're sending a good human being to that program because those programs work incredibly hard to build a culture. And that culture can be easily destroyed by a few kids just going in and destroying it. And then, you know, you're the parent of the kid that just destroyed this awesome community program and now it's gone. And so it's going to come out. Everything goes public as to why it happened and whatnot. And so I would highly suggest parents don't let your kid be the one that destroyed it so then that looks bad on you and you have to move communities, but it's going to follow you and all that fun stuff. So yeah, just teach your kid to be a good human. Um, let's see here. Do you have one last issue for us to discuss within children's culture?
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't really get to touch on it, but it is the whole screen time thing. But I do definitely think it is a consequence of, the previous issue we talked about, which is, not having a community for them to go out. And like you said, there is healthy ways for, kids to get that screen time in. And definitely, don't get me wrong. I definitely think if you're holding screen time away from your kids, you're putting them at a disadvantage.
Yes.
It's gonna be something that becomes, a necessity. If
Yeah.
it already isn't.
I think it
It's
definitely is already a necessity.
Yeah. If you you know hold technology away from your kids, you're gatekeeping them, man, and you can't let them grow that way. But with that being said, there are healthy ways for you to let them interact and figure out how things work online. And there's so many different programs, so many different apps, so many different, even if they're having trouble at school, there's learning and tutoring apps that they can take and be a part of, and they'll interact with a teacher, and there's so many great innovations that have came with technology. But too much of a good thing, it can always hurt.
True. True. And I like how you brought us back to this topic to end us here on our discussion on these issues in children's culture because, um, you can, I don't think it's good to withhold screen time from a child, especially when it comes to being on a computer. Like, for example, my daughter, my 5-year old, she likes when she sees me working on the blog or typing or writing or something. She likes now she knows all her letters and whatnot, and she knows how to spell certain words. And I let her start typing words. I tell her how to spell words. I tell her how to where to find the keys. It helps her just learn basic familiarity. And there's so many more programs out there, like Code Academy, hashtag not a sponsor. But there's things that you can download. There's apps that you can download on iPads, on your computer. There's programs, Khan Academy, kids. There's these apps that you can download that are on a screen, but are also helping your child learn and develop technical skills within that iPad, typing, math skills to help them learn and develop. So it's all about filtering it right for your kid to make sure it's safe and you protect them, but also kind of letting them go free within an app and learn and explore and have games to play and things to learn and things like that. So I love that. That's a good point. You can't gatekeep it. You have to kind of let them do it, but there's a way that you can still ensure that it's safe and beneficial to them while they're on that screen.
1000%. And another great thing that technology has brought us is, we use it to find our community. So like the problem we stated earlier, can be solved using technology. And show your kid that that's what's being done. If that's what you have to do, you have to go on Facebook, whatever. Let them be included in that. Let them interact with it. Let them know, hey, we're a part of this community here. And encourage them to use their resources, to use the tools that have been given to them.
No, 100% agree with all of that there. All right. Well, those are a few issues. So what else did we jump into then? We just jumped into um there's so many issues within children's culture, which is why we're going to touch on this in so many episodes. But we touched on body image, acceptance, screen time, outside time, community, um, empathy, positive parenting when it comes to screen time. Just so many things we were able to touch on there. I think that was awesome. Any last words that you wanna end with here um, for any of these topics we covered today?
It all just boils down to one thing, man. Just being present. Be present, be there, be active with your kid. That's all they can do. I seen this quote, it was great. It's like, you want to be the best parent, there's no secret to it. You just got to try.
Bam, I love it. We're gonna wrap it up there. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be right back to talk about some of our favorite or least favorite Girl Scout cookies. Man, I sure am hungry listening to this podcast. I wish I had something delicious, flavor packed, low sodium, all natural ingredients. Man, I wish I had something like that. But wait, I do. Now available at all Kroger locations, Walmart, and at danoseasoning.com. You can get Dano Seasoning, hot chipotle, spicy, original, and now everything bagel flavor. You can get all these at danoseasoning.com. Use the code BALLBOY at checkout. Save yourself some money, support your favorite podcast, and get you some of that yum yum. Get you some. Man, the audience loved your last quote just as much as I did. All right, we were talking about this right before the show because your wife called you, asked you what Girl Scout cookies you wanted, and we got into a little bit of a heated debate. So we're gonna talk about it. The best Girl Scout cookies. There is one Girl Scout cookie that is far superior, in my opinion, which of course is correct, because more people agree with me when it comes to food takes than you, as we know. Um, Let's see here. My favorite Girl Scout cookie and the best Girl Scout cookie is obviously Tagalog's. The peanut butter, chocolate covered ones. They're just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
It's okay to be wrong. You know, we gotta be inclusive. Remember? So yeah, it's definitely the shortbread cookie.
Ooh. Mm.
So the
Mm.
shortbread cookie's the best cookie. You dunk that in some milk. It's a game changer. It's over. Either that one
Mm.
or I remember they had a toffee cookie. I think it was like toffee tastic.
Oh, I remember the toffee one.
Yeah, that one's really good. It's like a shortbread, but it has like little chunks of taffy in it or toffee.
Oh, and I know that. Also, fun fact that I saw on Facebook, there are girls, like shelters of that have Girl Scouts within them. You can find these online, like wherever you're at, but a lot of the girls that are selling at like the stores and stuff, those are going to be your girls from like that have home that are in the Girl Scout programs. Not judging, but a lot of them are going to be, just have normal like family situations and healthier lives and whatnot. However, try to find somewhere local that you can support that is like girls from a youth shelter who are Girl Scouts who don't have anything, and then this Girl Scout troop is supporting these girls within the shelter. I know there's a really big one on Facebook right now coming from New York, and I know there's several other ones across the United States where they're just girls that truly need the help and the numbers and to really have something to take pride in and to earn. So I think it's cool to look out for those in your local community to where you can really make an impact with the Girl Scouts and with the Girl Scout cookie program as well. So um, you know, I really only liked Tagalogs. I love Tagalogs. My least favorite Girl Scout cookie, and this is because I'm not a fan of what's on this cookie, but it's Samoa's because I do not like coconut whatsoever.
And so, for our listeners, you can now understand why Jewel has a juvenile palate.
I
he
I
doesn't.
do.
He
I
does not.
do.
Does not like vegetables. Does not
No,
like most fruit.
I love fruit. No, I love fruit. I will eat the crap out of like 90% of fruit.
But yeah, so this is me, Jewel and I. We go back and forth and we bicker because our palates are so different. But
Mine's just sophisticated. Like I don't like vegetables, but I love like blue cheese and like very decadent cheese. Like I'll go to like a wine tasting and like have like the snobby foods. Like I'm all for that stuff. Like trying it. Except for caviar, I can't get behind whatever caviar is, like fish eggs and stuff. Like sushi, no thank you. Um, but like I'll try like things that are out there a little bit, but it just can't have vegetables on it. Or I don't want to see them. I don't want to taste them.
case
I just,
and point.
I just don't want to see them. But Girl Scout cookies, Tagalogs. I don't like Samoas. What's your next like top tier Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah, no, it's. I know I'm putting you down, but I really don't like Samoas either.
Thank
I
goodness.
just,
I just don't like.
I can't,
I
I
just
can't.
don't like them. Oh, probably the number one to most people that most people like love is Thin Mints. Obviously.
Yeah, that's another one though. I don't really, eh, not really a big fan of.
Oh, I'm also not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of them either. Um, let's see. The Dosey Dos. Those are fire. The peanut butter sandwiches, the crunchy oatmeal sandwich cookies with peanut butter filling.
Yep, and
Fire,
some of those are
fire.
coming in hot right now.
Yep, I know they are. I know they're on the order. Um, ooh, the s'mores. I would put the s'mores up there, probably in like my top three. Like the marshmallow ones. Ooh, those ones are crunchy graham sandwich cookies with chocolate and marshmallow filling. Yes. And then probably my last one, if I had to do like a top three, I'm definitely going Tagalogs. Yeah, those are my top three: Tagalogs, Dosey Dos, and s'mores.
Yeah, mine's definitely got to be shortbread, shortbread, shortbread. So
Shortbread, shortbread, shortbread. Like the trefoils, the trefoils.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, those are decent. They're yeah, they're okay.
so yeah, with all that being said, you guys, we're gonna leave a poll in the comments. Go ahead and interact and let us know who's right, who's wrong. If Jules childish.
I am. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, unfortunately, there is no poll feature. You would have to jump over to Spotify and hit that poll, or YouTube and leave a comment. Or you can just join us on Twitter. We'll put a poll up of all these cookies, the Raspberry Rally, the Adventurefuls, the gluten-free caramel chocolate chip, the caramel delittles, or the Samoas is what they're called, the Dosey Dos, the s'mores, the lemonades, lemon ups, Tagalogs, Thin Mints, the Toastiers. That's a French toast flavor dipped in icing. What? I need that. Um, Toffee Tastic, which is a toffee cookie. Has little toffee pieces in it, and then obviously your favorite, the trefoils. We'll put a poll up because it's tis the season for Girl Scout cookies. Go and support your local troop. If there are multiple local troops, see where they come from and try to support the one that's going to have the most impact. Again, we can't push that enough. For me personally, at least, help the girls that really need it and need the support. And the Girl Scout cookie drive is more than just cookies. It's really for the girls to learn to develop. So definitely keep that in mind. But um, yeah, like you mentioned, hit the poll. Join us on YouTube at Young Dad Pod. You can find us there. You can find us on every podcasting platform available. Literally, there's 11 main platforms within the U.S. We're on all 11 of them. So wherever you get your podcast, we're there. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, leave 5 stars, all that. If you want to join us on the website, you can do that. You can subscribe on the website so then you never miss an episode, because we post every episode on the website with the YouTube, Spotify, and Apple links so that you can get the news piece there. You never miss an episode. So a bunch of things for you to go ahead and do. Support the link tree. And yeah, Aaron, anything you want to leave for the listeners as we walk away today?
Yeah, just let's continue to grow, man. Let's create a great community and let's help all dads, whether they be, older, younger, barely a dad, been a dad for years. Let's create a healing community, man. Let's all get together.
Love it. So we hope you enjoyed your juice box. We hope you enjoyed your snack. Thanks for sitting down with us. Until next week. Hey, hey, you, are you still here with me? Thank you so much for listening all the way to the very end. Definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to leave 5 stars, leave a comment, leave a review. Head over to YouTube, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social medias, even TikTok. And all of those links, plus every single deal that we have in affiliation, you can find in our link tree. just by going to the show notes, clicking the Linktree link. It really does help us just with likes, 5 stars, subscribes, all of that. It's a great way to support us, and it really helps us keep going. We really appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Can't wait to be with you next week.